Welcome, dog moms and dads, to our show where we discuss the everyday joys and challenges of pet parenting. I'm your host, Jen,
And I'm Ashley.
and this is the Dog Mom Podcast presented by ZippyPaws.
Yay!
So this week we have the honor and absolute pleasure to have Grace Chon on our show. Welcome,
Yay.
Grace.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to speak to both of you.
We're
we're
so excited to have you
excited.
here.
So, the people who don't know Grace, she is I wrote this here, world-renowned pet photographer, best-selling author, awesome podcaster, mom, dog mom, social activist, gardener. I mean, what else did she not do, right?
Why are you talking to us?
Oh my gosh. I first of all, I thought that all those titles were really funny, especially social activist, because I'm so not. But I like to share things that I'm interested in, or I think that it's important for people to know, whether it's like this cool new dog thing, or here's this thing happening in the world that I think you should know about. You know what I mean? Like, I just like sharing information. So I thought that was funny you said that.
I
But,
love it.
yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
excited to speak to you guys. So thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, for the social activist, I've been looking at your Instagram stories, and I feel like I've learned a lot of things from the things that you've shared. So, it just, want to be more informed about what's going on. So we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Cool. That sounds good.
Yeah, so we met Grace. I think I've been following Grace on Instagram for a really long time. Some of my friends who are also in the dog like social media influence sphere, they all know you as well. So when we had the opportunity to ask Grace to do a photo shoot with us for ZippyPaws, we were super excited when you said yes, and it was a really fun project for us. When was that, like a year ago? Yeah, I think it was a year ago.
Yeah, so Grace shot essentially the cover shoot for one of our catalogs and also did a lot of the collateral for our Soulmates campaign, which was one of the first full rounded marketing campaigns that ZippyPaws did. And we were super excited about it. We had this whole concept and she just made it come to life so effortlessly.
Oh, thank you. And I loved that concept because what I love capturing is really like that bond that we share with our dogs. It's so beautiful. And to capture that essence in a picture is just something that I've consistently enjoyed doing for as long as I've had my career. So when you guys came to me with that concept, I was just so excited because it was right up my alley. And as far as clients go, you were so buttoned up and just knew creatively exactly what you wanted. You had such a strong visual sense and the colors and the props. So you guys were just ideal clients. I had so much fun working on that project with you. So that was really fun.
I'm like patting ourselves on the
I
back.
mean, like, you should pat yourselves on the back because not all clients know or have such a strong vision, and it really helps me as a photographer. I'm happy to help people who don't know and help find what that look and feel and voice is, but you guys knew like so clearly, and it was just really fun to help you execute on whatever that vision was that you had created.
Yeah, I think the Soulmates campaign was something that we as a whole, like, it really speaks to us, and it's just embodies who we are as a company. So yeah, I want to do more projects in the future, so we'll see.
Yes, let's just get coronavirus over with.
Right?
Get shooting again. Yeah, it's crazy.
Tell us a little bit about Zoe and Charlie and the other dogs in your life that have shaped you through your life.
Yeah, I got my first dog as an adult in 2007, and I was working in the advertising industry at the time, and it's just a notoriously stressful, awful environment. I don't even think there was the language back then to talk about what it was like, you know, like we have words like toxic masculinity and all these things now that like we didn't have that verbiage really back then. And so it was a really fun creative career. Like, I don't know what career you could go to a coffee shop with your writing partner and just spend all day outside drinking coffee, coming up with hilarious ideas. That's like the funnest, or like going on production. But then the flip of it is just so stressful, so on demand. And I would say it was like I was a doctor on call, but like not actually doing anything that important, you know? And so, yeah, you're just coming up with ideas for clients and making money for them, right? And so I was really stressed out. I was really miserable. And that's when I adopted my dog, Maybe. And she completely just changed my life. I was such a workaholic, and getting her just made me realize, like, what am I doing with my life? Like, this is not that important. You know, if I'm going to spend all this effort and energy into something, I want it to be something that's meaningful to me personally. And I started taking headshots of her, or just photos of her. And then not too long after, I adopted my second dog, Zoe. And just having the two of them changed me so much from the inside out. And I started taking headshots of homeless dogs to help them get adopted on the weekends, while I still had, you know, my day job as an art director in advertising. And then eventually I quit that to just doing pet photography full time. And Maybe sadly passed away last March. So it's been a little over a year. She lived till, we were guessing, around 14 years old, maybe 14, 15. And then in September, oh my gosh, it's been almost a year now, we adopted Charlie, who is like, Maybe was my soulmate and the love of my life. And I cannot believe I get to have another dog that is my soulmate and the love of my life. Like, I was just like quoting Mark Darcy to him today, and my husband's like, what are you doing? I'm like, you have bewitched me, Charlie. Like, I love him so much. He's the best dog. So yeah, those are the three dogs that I've had recently in my life and currently.
Isn't it amazing when you lose that first heart dog and you think, you know, I'm going to open my heart to another dog, but it's never going to be the same. And then just bam, you're like, oh, wait a second. Wait, this happens twice? Like, I'm going to get that lucky twice? Because that's what I went through with Stella, and then now with Bjorn. And it's just so like, it's like, okay, there's hope for you out there that are hurting. It can happen again.
Yeah, I was really surprised by that, honestly, because I felt like everyone said you get that like one heart dog, and I have another one. And it's not to say, I mean, like, I don't feel like I have to disclaim this because of the people that listening. Like, we all love dogs when we get it, right? But like, that heart dog relationship is different. Like, I love Zoe so much, and she is my baby, and I love her. And then there's just this like different soul connection you feel with that heart dog. You think it'll only happen once, and it's amazing that it's not true. It can happen a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like different dogs touch you in different ways as well. Also, kind of like the time in your life that you have the dog really helps to, you know, shape that connection. Because when I got JJ, I was like a teenager. I was growing up. That's like a whole different dynamic than when I got Birdie as an adult. So they really just like help me grow in different ways, I think.
It's so true. I think we really get the dog that we're meant to have in that period of our time, of our lives. Yeah, so it's very insightful.
For sure. I feel like we're also lucky.
Oh yeah,
We are.
Lucky dogs. Well, everybody thinks their dog is the best, but our dogs are the best. So
most of the time.
So I know you touched on this a little bit, but you got into photography by taking photos of your own dogs and taking photos of homeless dogs?
Yeah, I have been into photography since I was a kid, but just like point and shoot, you know, like I got my first point and shoot Canon when I was like in 5th grade. And I always loved photography, and I distinctly remember the feeling of being so disappointed. I'm going to date myself, but like, you know, my cameras were all film cameras, and like, so they're coming back, and I'm like, these prints look nothing like I thought they would look like. Like, they looked this way in my head, and I'm getting these prints back and they're like crap. And so I always wanted like a fancier DSLR because I felt like I could have more control in shaping the image to look more like what I saw in my brain. And it wasn't until I got my first advertising job where I could actually afford a nice camera. I went and got the DSLR, and I'm totally self-taught. I just got the DSLR, practiced on my dogs, and then started practicing on rescue dogs to help them get adopted.
That's awesome. But I just feel like it's such a big step, like a really brave step for you to actually quit your, I'm assuming, high paying, fast paced role in an advertising agency and then focus full time on your photography career.
Yeah, it felt so risky at the time. I had just received a raise. My writing partner and we had done a series of commercials that like went viral before that was even a term, going viral. We had like developed a microsite to go with this campaign that we did, and the website crashed. And I mean, it was just like really successful on a lot of levels. We got raises. And then I walked into my boss's office and was like, I'm quitting to be a pet photographer. So it wasn't even like I was going to be like, I don't know, like some fancy commercial photographer making a lot of money. Like going to be a pet photographer. And people thought I was so crazy. And this was also during the Great Recession. So this was in 2009. I think like 50% of the ad industry had been let go. People are looking for jobs. I have a job and I'm like, peace out. I'm going to quit and be a pet photographer. So it felt really risky in a lot of ways just because the job sounded crazy. It was a recession. I'm leaving something stable. But it also felt like not that risky because I'm like, I can always go back. You know, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to die. And I kind of looked at it like, you know, if I don't do this now, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life. And I am more fearful of regret than of failure. Like to me, regret is the biggest failure. I don't want to die and be like, I had this chance. Why didn't I just try it? So it felt really risky, but it also felt not that risky. And it was the best thing I ever did because it changed my life completely.
I love that story so much. And I think it's because that resonates with me personally. I came to ZippyPaws from an agency as well. So I was doing public relations and marketing, and not to discredit where I used to work because I do love everyone. I have very fond memories there, but you get those toxic relationships with clients, and it's kind of like you're talking about previously where you're like a doctor that's on call, but it's because someone's upset that there's a typo in their social media post. And you reach this point where you're like, why am I waking up at 2:00 in the morning for this? This is absolutely absurd. But the thing that is nice about an agency is it teaches you how to multitask. You really cultivate creativity through that, and you kind of learn what you need to do I feel like it's a good stepping off point for anyone that wants to go on their own, because you're dealing with clients, you're dealing with heavy workload. When you're starting your own business, it's not easy. You're still waking up at 2:00 in the morning stressing about stuff, but it's a very self-gratifying kind of thing.
I think you raised a really good point, Ashley, because I think for a lot of people to do, you know, like for example, what I did in my own career, to walk away from a career you're doing well at that's lucrative, it feels almost like it's such a waste. Like I worked so hard to get into this field, to this competitive job, and what a waste to just like quit it all. But like you said, you take these things with you. This is something I talk about on my show a lot. Like It's never a waste because there are these life lessons and experiences that you are taking with you onto the next thing. And actually, my undergraduate degree is in biology, and I was supposed to be a vet. Oh. So once I graduated from undergrad, I decided I'm going to go to art school. Like, F this. Like, just because I love animals doesn't mean I can be a vet. Like, I am not cut out for this. I shadowed a vet one summer, and I almost passed out watching him do an ear cropping surgery. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I decided to go to art school. Again, it was like very similar feelings of like, I have to do what's right for me, even if people think I'm absolutely crazy. And a lot of people were like, you are nuts because you studied science, you studied so hard in school, and you're just going to like completely change careers. Not that different from me just like quitting my ad job. And it's like, there's so much, like you said, Ashley, that you take with you on the next leg of your journey. It's not a waste. So, yeah.
That's so inspiring. Yeah. I started in the pet industry, so I don't know if necessarily I would like quit this and do something completely different. I know I can probably do it, but it's just like you get so in the comfort zone and you're like on a roll, especially if you're doing well, you're excelling, like you want to just keep going on that trajectory, and for you to like branch out and do something else completely and also killing it is just amazing, I think.
But I think like if you're happy doing it, like Jen, like you are killing it. Like
Yeah,
your
that's
vision
true.
for your business, you love what you're doing. Like you are so creative and you have such vision and you're constantly pushing yourself, and the products and designs you come out with are so cool and they're so innovative. Like you love it, right? But like if there were to ever come a day where you didn't, I think you would have no problem finding that like through line to whatever that next step is. And people, it like when you're not in it, it sounds so scary, but like I think, like I said, like doing that next thing that you feel like you're meant to do is worth it. You know, I think I know what you're saying, but I think it's because you love what you're doing so much now you can't even think about it. Like it's unimaginable.
That's true. That's true. I love my job and I love
Well, and it's
being
also
here, so.
for you. It's your vision, you know. You're not like working for someone else trying to make their vision come to life, and you're not necessarily sure you love it. Like everything you do is kind of a representation of you and ZippyPaws.
That's true. I'm just so lucky. What am I even talking about?
You are so lucky. You're so lucky. You never had to work in corporate America, deal with all that bull crap.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the only person I have to listen to is my dad, who is like my partner, but I usually don't listen to him anyway.
I would say that has its own challenges though. Like thought of working with my dad, like if you're listening, I apologize. Stop listening is no, that would just not happen.
Luckily, he's great, and he lets me kind of call the shots on a lot of the things. So I guess I'm just lucky overall.
It's not just luck, though. Give yourself some credit, Jen.
Yeah.
You made this.
Mm-hmm.
You made it happen.
I think it's like we were at the right place at the right time. Also, like I came in with the right ideas too, and just everything like worked together. Everything was like just meshed, and it allowed us to grow.
Yeah, you guys are so popular. I love it.
Nice. Yeah, I love to hear about
really
like
fun.
people who like have seen our products in different states, different countries. It's just like so cool to me that ZippyPaws is like popping up everywhere.
So when you first started, how did you start acquiring clients? Did you kind of tap into the resources that you'd already had? Or were you kind of doing this guerrilla style where you were just starting from the bottom?
Yeah, I was completely starting from the bottom. So what I do now is not what I was doing when I started. So when I started, I was doing, there's a couple different ways to describe it, but like just private family photography, you could say, or they call it retail photography, versus by the time I worked with you guys, I exclusively became a commercial photographer. So now I just work with ad agencies and companies. So back when I started in 2008, it was solely, you know, people hired me for their own personal portraits, for their Christmas cards, for special occasions, and it was only with pets, never with anything else. And it was just totally organic. And like you were talking about, Jen, I think it was really right place, right time. You know, a lot of people thought the pet industry would crash in the Great Recession, and in fact it grew, you know. And I think we're seeing this now again with the pandemic and coronavirus. Like when you're miserable and you feel like crap, the thing that makes you feel amazing are your pets, you know. And so when people were really miserable back in 2009, a lot of money was being pumped into the economy in the pet industry, you know. And so I ended up riding that wave too, and I very quickly grew a reputation in Los Angeles. I think because at the time when I started, my look and feel was very different. I think now it's not as different as it was when I started, but at the time, just the lighting and the colors, and I remember even when people didn't want to be in the shots when I started, like people were like, no, it's just about the dog. Like, I don't want to be in the picture. And I specifically remember I had one client named Michael, and he was like, of course I want to be in the pictures. Like, I want to be in all of them. And so I was like, thank you. Finally, I can like get people in my shots. And I put them on my blog and it like blew up. People loved seeing that authentic, non-posed, staged, they wanted that authenticity, that connection, that realness. And so just doing things like that, doing things slightly different, I'm sure my advertising background helped a lot. Again, those things I took with me into building my business, and I just built it from the ground up. And I'm sure both of you know, just being consistent and giving really great customer service and making people just fall in love with you are probably just the most important things, in addition to providing a really great service and product.
Yeah, I think how we started growing too in the beginning is we were just authentic to who we are, right? Like I would never put out a product that I personally didn't like. And, people who didn't necessarily know me, but they see the product and, as they keep purchasing year after year, they know that they can trust me. They can trust the ZippyPaws name. They can trust like whatever I put out. It's something that I've tested. And like Ashley knows my testing process. Like it's so much, sometimes I hold on to a product and I don't release it for years just because I didn't get it right. And like the storybook, like I had something in my mind for maybe 2-3 years, and I never really launched it until like that moment, like we talked about in the last episode, where I was like in Barnes and Noble looking at children's storybooks, and I was like, this is what I wanted to do. This is what I want to convey in the idea of like the dogs being our children and like us reading to them. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, it's just being authentic and like putting out product that you love, and then those people will gravitate towards you and you'll get those clients too.
It's so true. And as you were talking, it made me think like it's interesting too, because I'm sure you've dealt with this, but copycats come along, right? And they try to replicate what is your authenticity, and it's just not the same. I think people can tell,
I've heard some of my salespeople tell me that they get comments from customers saying like, "Oh, so and so is also making donut dog toys, but they don't like them, and they want to buy your donuts because you started it first." And we've never really advertise them as like the first donut. I'm sure there's been many donut toys made before us, but I don't know. They're so loyal to me without me even telling people to be loyal. So that's like the best kind of marketing that I think is out there, is just authentic people loving your product, and then they are genuine when they recommend it to their friends, and they are just like walking advertisements for your brand, basically.
And that's the best. That's like that kind of word of mouth. That's like the best advertising and marketing. You can't buy that. Building that reputation is so important.
Yeah, definitely. In any industry, whether it's like, for us as a brand or you as a photographer, I think that's like really important. And also, just like you said, with that customer service, sometimes people don't remember the product or they don't remember their service necessarily, but they remember how they felt when they dealt with your company or your brand. And that is more valuable, I think, also.
Yeah. And I think that personality too sets you apart in the way that there are always going to be multiple pet brands, right? Mm-hmm. Just like you don't necessarily have you don't have a monopoly on pet brands, just like you don't necessarily have a monopoly on being a golden retriever mom, right? But you bring these individual aspects, and that's what differentiates you. And then people decide like, okay, I like this brand because of this, and I like this brand because of that. And then that's okay. There's nothing wrong with, somebody not necessarily absolutely loving your brand, but still respecting it too. Like, oh, that might not be my favorite, but I respect how real they are, and I'm going to keep buying their toys.
Yeah, for sure.
That's very true.
I also want to know, like, what were the differences between kind of like your pet industry, your photography industry when you first started versus what you think it is now?
That's a really good question. I think it's gotten really extra in a good way over the years. Like,
Yes.
I think Instagram has really helped facilitate the extraness. I think it's so easy and inspirational to see what products are out there, what lifestyles we can have. There's just such like easy access to the celebration and connection. This did not exist when I started my business. I think in 2008, Facebook, what was really big and used, and then Twitter came along. But I think Instagram is like just the big game changer, you know, with seeing people's products, and it's so easy to just buy it in an instant. I think just that I feel like now in 2020 versus 2008, like it's just a given. Your dog is your family member. Like you're weird if you don't think that. And I think in 2008, people kind of were like, wait, so people spend hundreds of dollars on pet photography? And now it's like, why wouldn't you? They only live for like 14 years. Like take good pictures of them, you know? So I think a lot of that sort of like feeling like you're weird because you treat your dog like a kid, that's not I feel like that's just like the standard now.
Yeah, for sure. And like as a brand too, I feel like you need good photography to build that social media following, right? Like you can't have bad pictures, and unless you're a celebrity or people know you from somewhere, you can't build that following if you have bad pictures or like unprofessional pictures.
It's true. You need the Insta-worthy photos.
So, on that vein, then, as a photographer, when you're working with a client or a brand and you take on a big project, how do you kind of bridge the gap between their vision and also your own creative vision? Because you always want to put a little bit of yourself into it because that's going to yield the best result. But I see this from a creative standpoint all the time. I mean, we deal with it even when we're working with influencers. Like, how do you balance that?
I'm really, really lucky. You guys talked about trust a little bit in the beginning, Jen, or not too long ago, but I'm so fortunate that my clients come to me as the professional. You know, they really rely on me to be the expert in the situation, because some of these people have never even worked with animals before, you know, and so they come to me with knowing what they want, but it's also on me to explain to them, for example, this idea you have is never going to work, and here's why, but here's a really great alternative. And this is based on me talking with trainers, you know. People come to me with like a wish list of shots, and I will go over it one by one with the trainers to talk about what's feasible, what's not. If they do this, how much more training is involved? How much more is that going to cost? And so clients really do rely on me a lot for guidance, being the professional that's worked with animals on set for a very, very, very long time. And then a lot of what I do, because there is this very authentic element involved, it's like you can't really plan for it. I mean, even when I was shooting with you guys, like the shots that you ended up going with weren't necessarily something that was exactly prescribed on a shot list, right? Because these authentic moments happen in seconds. And so a lot of it is like, let's set ourselves up for success. Let's know that we want these things. And then whatever magic happens, let's just go with it. And so I think because of that, I'm given a lot of creative leeway. A lot of my clients also know that I used to be an art director in the past. So they'll rely on me a lot for like, what do you think of the props in the room? What do you think of the wardrobe? And so if I give suggestions on how to rearrange things, like they're very open to hearing my thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you worked with a lot of people who aren't in the pet industry? I know you've shot for like a lot of brand, like dog food brands, and I can't remember the full list, but have you worked with people who haven't done any photography in pets?
Yeah, like I did a job for Tinder, which they're not,
I saw that.
You know, they're not obviously in the pet industry at all. I've done a job for Nintendo. I'd have to go through my client list. I mean, obviously majority of my list, you know, is pet specific, pet industry clients, but every once in a while I get people who are doing something special where they're incorporating pets, and then they come to me, and it's extra super fun because then the client is excited because they're like, yay, we finally get to do something with dogs and cats, and they're really happy.
Yeah. Whereas we've done photo shoots with dogs throughout, our whole career. And like, I love photography too. And in the beginning, like, I took all of our photos, and I know how hard it is to get your dog to do the things that you want them to do. And then, for example, my dog Kramer will love to have things, like to wear things. Like, he can wear clothes or hats. And then some dogs just like do not do well with that. And some dogs can hold things in their mouth, and some dogs like they just don't, Obviously, when you get trained dogs, they can do a lot more tricks.
The casting is so important, even
Yes.
for you guys. Like, I did an in-person casting where I met every single dog that was eligible, and I really took detailed notes on, what are the things they can do. I go back to the shot list and make sure that there are dogs that can do that. And it's not just for you guys. It's like a lot of times, we'll do casting at professional casting places, and then I'm like reviewing videos for the client to give them my thoughts on, these are the animals that can do the things that you want or not.
Right.
But yeah, like if you need a dog to hold a toy, you need to make sure they can hold a toy in their mouth or
That's
wear
a skill
clothes.
set, yeah.
Yeah, or be interested in toys, because some dogs, like, when they're stressed, they don't care about toys at all. And for us, we're a dog toy company. We want our pictures to show that dogs are playing with their toys, and sometimes, and you can never predict it, right? Sometimes a dog gets on set and they just refuse to play with the toys, or they love playing with the toys, but their butt is always to the camera. Like, they always turn around for some reason. So, the joys of pet photography.
I need Charlie to be in your next thing, though. I'm like that mom now, because I'm like, Zoe can't do any of this. Like, she was the one that was in these photos I took of Zoe and my son that a lot of people saw, but she could never be on set. She could never do what Kramer, like, she could just never do any of that. But Charlie, he loves toys and he's very social, so let's cast him.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm going to
do
have
it.
Charlie send in a reel so we can review.
Yeah.
So, but for like the amateur photographer, for someone who just wants to take a little bit nicer pictures with their dogs on their with their phone, what tips do you have for them? I sent this question out to.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, I sent this out to our team. I said, hey, like, we're gonna interview Grace. Do you have any questions? And then one of them said that their dogs don't really sit still for a picture, or they don't look at the camera. So, yeah, I'm just interested to hear, like, what tips do you have for someone like that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I get asked this question a lot, and I think what I'm about to say seems so obvious, but when I say it, a lot of people are like, really? Is use treats. I always say dog photography is like dog training. When I'm on set, it's like when they are giving me behavior that I like and it's what I need, I pay them. And then very quickly, dogs are smart. They get it. They're like, oh my God, if I sit here and look at her, she's going to give me a treat. So getting them to focus really helps, especially if you want like a portrait or like a more posed, like Instagram-y kind of picture. Your treat not only gives them the focus and the incentives to sit still and interact with you, you can then use the treat to guide their eye line. So if you want like a cool shot of them looking right at your camera, you hold it right by the lens and it looks like they're looking into the lens. If you want it to be like more nonchalant and modelly and they're looking off camera, just hold the treat off camera and they're going to look wherever you put your hand. So number one, use really good treats, and you want to use high reward treats. You don't want to use like dry biscuity things. Like if your dogs really, really like boiled chicken breast, like only use boiled chicken breast when you want to get your good Instagram pictures, and they're going to learn very quickly. Like, oh, this is fun time, picture time. Like I'm going to do what she wants. So number one is really good treats, only give it to them when they give you the behavior you want. And this is why it's like dog training. A lot of people say to me, Grace, you're like a dog whisperer. Like, how come my dogs are doing things for you that they don't do for me? And that's because I don't take chicken. BS. Right. Well, I got chicken, but I also don't take their BS. Like, I don't take bossy behavior. So like if a dog is barking at me and acting crazy, like that's not when I give them the treat. I give them the treat when they're sit calm. If the shot I need is them calm and looking at the camera, that's when I give the treat. So good treats, be consistent, because it's like dog training, I think is really the number one tip that a lot of people don't think about doing.
Right. Yeah. A lot of people don't also really know too much about training, so they kind of reward at the wrong times. And I'm guilty of that too, right? Because I tell them to sit multiple times when you're supposed to say it once, and reward them when they do the behavior.
Do it.
Yeah. So definitely, like, you do have to watch some videos about dog training. And when Birdie was little, we did clicker training with her, so that's just like a faster reward for her, and she did really well with that. And when you talked about biscuits, I thought of this too, because sometimes I use biscuits as like a treat too, and they just get too crumbly. And when you're on set, like, you don't want your dog to be like hunched over trying to eat the treat, right? You want those like liver or chicken or soft things that they can just like eat right away.
And small pieces. Like, you don't have to give him like a huge crumbly biscuity thing every time. Like, give them a morsel, because that's what's going to keep them interested in coming back. And then the other trick too, to get them look at you with the element of surprise especially, is like make a sound. So what I learned to do very quickly in my career was I'll shoot with one hand and have a squeaky toy in the other. So you could do something very similar where you have your iPhone in one hand and get like a squeaky toy or their favorite toy in your hand. I like the little squeaky, those like little plastic squeaky balls that come inside the squeaky toy. Like, I'll buy bags of those on Amazon. You can just like hide it in your hand. And so if they're like really not paying attention to you, you can just squeak it, and then they look at the camera and you get the shot. So it's a lot of it is timing. You could do like a potato chip bag, like just rustle the treat bag. Anything to get their attention really works. And here's the other thing, is that I don't think I would have the career I had if it wasn't for digital photography. Because the real secret to really good pet photography is take a crap ton of pictures. So don't feel like you can only press your iPhone once and that has to be the shot. Like, take a lot of pictures. And within that, series you get, you're going to get something good.
Those are some really good tips. Yeah. I think a thing with my old dog was every time I made a sound, he would want to come to me. And I'm just like, no, stay there. And that's something that like my two dogs now are really good at it. But it's just like, I know the frustration when people want to take pictures of their dog and they're just like running everywhere. They're running to the camera, So you're just trying to keep them staying there.
And if that was the case, I think for me, I would do the treat thing. Every dog is so different. So you really have to do what works for them, because it's like, if you have a dog that just wants to come to you, then it's like you have to practice for sit and stay. Right. And then like back up really quick and get the shot kind of thing. Right. It's like different for every animal you're working with.
Yeah. I think I found what worked with Bjorn is because he's just so high energy. He's usually pretty well behaved when we're trying to use him for photos. But the thing that I've noticed too is that he's like hyper focused. So then he looks super serious. He just looks like he's in front of a firing squad. But I've learned that if I just exercise him like crazy, he's tired and his tongue is out. So he's got that super cute look and everyone's like, oh, he's so chill. I'm like, well, actually he just ran 4 miles, but
Yeah. That's another thing.
That's a super good tip. Yeah.
Just exhaust them.
Exhaust them. When I had my pet photography business, I always told clients, make sure you exercise your dog before the shoot. And then even like if I'm doing, a commercial job where we have people with their pets coming in, like we did for ZippyPaws, it's like we always tell them, exercise your dog before. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Ashley, because that's a really good tip.
It also gets their tongue out, so they look happier. I know Kramer gets like that very serious model look, and I don't want that usually, right? Like I want that happy, smiling pup that looks more open. So you just have to run them first, so they're really tired.
And then I know with taking phone pictures, especially with Instagram, like we want to be able to get the cute shots of like the dogs wearing the sunglasses or the dog wearing the hat or like the shirt. And like you mentioned, Jen, not all dogs like that. But again, it's a very similar process with training and acclimating them to it. So it's like you bring out the treats and you reward them little by little. It's like you get them to smell the sunglasses and you give them a treat, and then they can put it on their nose. And even if it's 1 second, you go, good job, and make a big deal of it and you give them a treat, right? So it's just another process of training them to get used to whatever these things are you want to pose them with, and they should pick up on it.
Yeah, so to get that one really good picture takes a lot of practice and training behind the scenes, I think, too. Yeah.
Sorry, Bjorn just knocked a glass over.
Oh, no. Yeah, for Birdie, I'm trying to train her to hold things because Kramer doesn't hold things. So I thought, between my two dogs, I need one of them to become Insta-famous, right? So I can stay home and be a stay-at-home dog mom and not have to work. So I've been training Birdie to hold things in her mouth, and it's a slow process. Now she can go for maybe 10, 15 seconds without dropping it. So hoping she lands a good deal someday.
You're on your way.
Maybe I'll submit her for casting too.
You should. She's so cute. She's
She's
beautiful.
been doing good.
I think she'll be in the next thing. I see it.
I'm too lazy to be a dog manager though.
You can hire one of the. Oh, here's another thing that's different. There's like professional dog agents and representation now. In 2020 that there wasn't in 2008. So you can get her an agent and you won't have to do it yourself.
That's great.
There you go. How do I get the dog agent job?
Right?
That could be your next thing.
My side hustle. I'll just be the agents for the ZippyPaws dog, and I'll just like double end deals.
There you go.
I'm like let's talk a little bit about your podcast because I'm a loyal listener. I know you haven't done any new episodes, which I'm sad about, but it's called Creativity School, and I just want to hear a little bit about like your thoughts when you started it and why you started it.
First of all, thank you for being a loyal listener. Did not know that, so thank you. You know what? I did not think that this hiatus I took would be this long. I'm so sad about it because I miss it. This, like I mentioned, I don't know if we recorded this part, but this is my first time sitting in front of the mic since November. So it's been a really long time. But I didn't ever think I would have a podcast, ever. I started feeling like a few years ago, I meant to do something more, and I don't know what that is. And I guess because I'd been a pet photographer for so long and I was feeling a little bit of boredom and felt like I wanted to do more that impacted people beyond just the pet photography space. And I was feeling so lost. I was like, do I take writing classes? Like, do I become a life coach? Like, what do I do? And then when the idea of starting a podcast about creativity and empowering people to really dig into that creative feeling that they feel and trust it, I knew that was really what I wanted to talk to people about because it's something that I've experienced. It's something that I've lived intimately, and I know how scary it is to start things and do things. So that's really why I wanted to do a podcast on the specific topic. It's about creativity and in all forms. Like, I think a lot of people think creativity is like in this little tiny box of art and visual arts and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so much more than that. And so it's just really fun talking to people about the things that they do and the things that they've overcome to get where they are today.
Yeah, I like how you have different guests on who are in different industries and different fields and how they harness kind of creativity, I think is really, really interesting to me.
Thank you. It's intentional. I really want to have like business people on, and also artists, chefs, people from different walks of life, allowing their creativity to express in different ways. And even though the end product is different, what I find so interesting is the internal process is completely the same. And I love finding that through line and talking to people about it, because we all feel the imposter syndrome. We all feel afraid of taking risks. We all feel scared of putting our work out there and getting shamed and criticized for it, right? It doesn't matter what that thing is you put out there. It's like the way we talk to ourselves is identical. And so I love talking to people about that.
Yeah, that's totally right. Like, I never really thought of it that way. But like, everybody is going through the exact same thing. And I think that was kind of our thought process too when we were starting our podcast. I know we had the idea for a while, and even like a year ago when we did the photo shoot, I was talking to you about it, and I said I wanted to do a podcast, but I didn't know if it was like, I felt like everybody and their mother were starting podcasts, so I didn't want to be like one of those people. It was like, oh, you're a podcaster. But I just thought it would be nice to have a space where we can kind of talk about our own ideas and our experiences, and if people relate to us, that's awesome. So that's why we're doing it, and it's kind of fun. It kind of breaks up like the day-to-day things. So, and you kind of
that's what the first thing I said to you was, I'm so glad you did it, because a year ago you told me this idea, and I think what's easier is to talk yourselves out of it. And that's the problem we have with creativity, is like we get these little hits of inspiration, and if only we would listen, right? But then we rationalize it and overthink it and figure out why we shouldn't do it. Like, oh, I'm just going to be another one of those dumb podcasters out there, so I'm just not going to do this.
Yeah. No one's going to listen, and
no one's all of that, right? And I love that you did it. And at the end of the day, what I want people to know is like, the outcome is not what's important, okay? Your podcast isn't only successful if it ends up in like Apple's top 10 list and it ends up in the New York Times. Like, I think we need to learn to stop measuring success by these outwardly metrics and do it based on the things that are inside of us that make us fulfilled and happy, And the fact that you both had this idea and you followed through with it, I think is so inspiring and amazing. And I'm so glad you did it. And I wish everybody would do that with their creativity.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good when we have an idea. It takes us a while sometimes, but we always do it. Why not, right? Like, and it's like so much fun too to just like chit chat with Ashley like for an hour or two every week, outside of our regular chit chats, and and we also like hang out with like different people. Like, I haven't seen you in a year, so it's awesome to like connect, and especially during stay at home right now where I don't even see any friends at all. And also like with our episode a few weeks ago, like I met these new people from starting Dog Mom podcast. So it's just like a really nice way for me to like not work on Excel spreadsheets for a little while and really push myself in like a different direction, right? And hopefully have some new experiences and also meet new people. And it doesn't necessarily translate into like cash in my pocket or like sales or anything like that, but hopefully it'll just like elevate the brand as a whole, I guess. So yeah, I don't really have any like high expectations for it, but I just, as long as I'm having fun in the process.
Well, I think another misconception too is that it has to be hard. And if something isn't hard, that it's not a worthwhile ending product. I remember when Jen and I first went into this, we had a lot of people, friends, family, coworkers that were saying, okay, like it's not necessarily that easy. Make sure you guys have definitive outlines for everything that you want to say. It's a lot harder when you sit down to talk about something for more than 15 minutes, which is ironic because they've clearly never heard Jen and I just go off on tangents, but it came really naturally to us. And I think initially Jen and I were both kind of like, oh, maybe this isn't gonna be that good. Like it was easier than we thought it was going to be. So we must be doing something wrong. And I think that's something that in a lot of different creative fields you find too, right? Like if you get that in the off chance that you get a great shot, the first or second time, then you're second guessing. You're like, ugh, that's probably not good. It should have been harder. Or if you're working on a marketing campaign or a piece of copy, anything that comes easily, it's so embedded in our brain to think that it's bad. And that's not necessarily the case either.
It's very true. And I think that it happens with creativity a lot. We get into a flow, and flow is like you're going in the right direction. It's kind of like this. The analogy I always used is that when I was in advertising, I felt like I was always fighting upstream. I could do it, and I was doing it very well, but it took a lot of my energy. It was very exhausting, and I'm fighting against this current, right? But when you listen to the thing that you're supposed to be doing, when you actually act on making the thing you want to do, whether it's a podcast or this bit of writing you want to do, you're going with the flow of the current. You have this energy bigger than yourself that is really helping to nudge you along. And maybe that feels easy, and that's not bad. Yeah. You know, you have something outside of yourself that you're working with now, and you're just kind of going with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, another thing I want to add too is like the people around you who are supporting you. Like when we were first talking about it, I was like, oh, this is like a bad idea. I don't know if it's a good idea. And then I talked to you about it, and you were like, yeah, why not do it? Like I'm behind you 100%. And like, you know, sometimes you're just like, you know what? I can do it, right? Like why not? Why the heck not? So I think surrounding yourself with people who like just like support you realistically, right? I don't want to say like support people who have like, you know, that they're making bad ideas, but like it, especially like creativity and in advancing your career, like I want to be that person too, to like help my friends and help my family to be like, you know what, you can do this, and I'll help you in any way that I can. Because when I first started, there are so many people who helped me. And like, other than luck and hard work, like there are the people around you really like help you to like build that foundation for your company to grow or your business to grow. So I want to be that person.
I love that. It's true. And I think, you know, this has come up on my show a few times too, where, you know, if you're in that position to have that, you're so blessed. And if you're not, if you feel like nobody supports you, your family doesn't believe in you, your friends don't believe in you, everyone says you're crazy, thanks to social media, you can find your people. You know, you can find people to support you and encourage you and believe in you. So regardless of where it's coming from, whether it's in real life, IRL, or online, I think that support system is such an important thing. And it's a good thing you brought that up, because it's really important.
Yeah, I've had days where like I don't feel motivated at all, and sometimes I just like see something online or I talk to a friend about something else, and it just like helps to like just start the wheel again, you know, and then you get into that positive spin, and it snowballs from there.
I think that's why people build like masterminds and stuff, right? I've never been in one, but I think that's why. Yeah.
Let's see. What are you working on currently? Anything like you can share? You're allowed to share with us?
Yeah, you know, this pandemic has been so weird, because I was about to come out with a new photo series that I've been working on since Maybe passed away in March of 2019. So it's been a very long time. It's called Healer, and it's about the healing power of dogs. And I kind of call it like my Jim Carrey moment, because I think I'm really known for taking very humorous portraits. I've had 2 series go viral, and like they're really funny and they're cute. And for these, I want it to be more poignant and a little bit deeper. And I really want people to sit with the energy of these dogs that I'm photographing and really feel like the difference in this healing energy that they're bringing us. Because I really believe dogs are healers. Like they are here. Like we were talking about earlier, how like we get the dog we need at that point in our life. I think we all have these little holes and imperfections in us that need healing. And the dog we get at that point in our life are there for that specific reason, to help us with those things. And so every dog has this. You don't have to be like a certified therapy dog for a dog to be a therapy dog. And I want people to really feel that and experience that in these portraits that I'm taking. They're very stark, black and white images of the dogs just connecting with you. And I want it to feel like almost like a meditation. Like it's just you and this dog connecting very deeply, and you breathe and you feel it. And I was getting ready to put this series out, and then the pandemic happened, and it just I've been in this really weird state. Like, I don't really post that much in my feed anymore. I think I've just been processing a lot, and just I've kind of been describing it like I feel like I'm in a cocoon that I don't want to come out of. I'm just really processing. Like, at first it was like all the anti-Asian racism that just made me feel so sad and hurt. I couldn't even talk about it. And then coronavirus came to the United States, and, you know, crap hit the fan. And then I had to do distance learning with my son for 4 or 5 hours a day. And then, you know, now we're confronting just this like massive inequality in the United States. And I just feel like the world is on fire, and I'm processing. And personally, I feel like I don't want to put stuff out in the world right now, because I feel like nothing I say is important. Like, I'm not saying that to like be self-deprecating. I just really feel like nothing I say right now or can put out right now even comes close to like offering the world what it needs. And I'm just kind of sitting, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not being an artist and being all productive and successful. It's cool. I like this downtime.
Well, I think too that so many people are putting these stipulations on, oh, it's a really tough time and you're an artist, so you need to put your thoughts out through your work, and it's okay to have blocks, and it's okay to just need to take a step back, right? Like it, but I see it all the time, like, oh, well, just harness your stress and harness your anxiety. And it's like, well, yeah, that's gonna put out some really quality content for a lot of people. That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I think like we're so conditioned to be productive and successful all the time. Yeah. We are a nation of workaholics, and we measure our success on how busy we are and how successful our output is. And also being Korean American, like that's just been something that's been ingrained in me since I came out of my mother's womb. Like, be successful and high achieving at all costs. And it's something that I've personally really worked on healing in myself. I say I am a recovered workaholic. I had a very, very, very scary experience happen to me a few years ago, where I was driving home from a photo shoot and I almost passed out in the car and ended up in the emergency room. And so that was my wake up call to like change my life and really dig deep into workaholism and the overachievement. And I started therapy, and I'm so thankful that I had years of working on this, because I think if I didn't, this time might feel really bad. Like, I'm not being productive. Oh my God. No, I have to get this work out. Like, it has to resonate. It has to accomplish all these things. Like, dogs are healers. We need healing. Let's like get this work out there and have it do its thing. And I think I would have been that way, because it's like, I think I would have felt empty if I wasn't achieving in this down period in my life. And I'm grateful that I'm at a point where I'm okay with doing nothing. And that feels awesome, because I never, ever thought I would have been able to say that in my life. And just to piggyback on what you're saying, Ashley, I think a lot of people feel pressure right now to, especially if you're creative, to be adding things to the world and to have this voice and to be productive. And you know what? We're all living in trauma right now. It's okay to just sit with it. Hug your dog and eat something delicious and read some books and learn how to be anti-racist and do all the stuff, right?
Right? We joke about that with our marketing campaigns, and we had to pivot a little bit just due to the nature of what was going on. But one thing that I told my team very early on is that we're not going to wallow, and we're also not going to talk about the pandemic in every piece of content that we put out, right? It's not due to these unforeseen times and these turbulent times, and we're here for you. And just like you see these airlines that are like, oh, well, we're here for you. And the running joke is like, well, you weren't here for me when my luggage was 2 pounds overweight a couple months ago. And I think like, and I've told my team a lot, like, we need to be even more relatable at this point, because people are sitting at home with their dogs on the TV, on the sofa, watching garbage Netflix shows, and that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I love that was like a conscious thing you told your team, because I think that's really important. And I also think people are sick of corporate America doing the thing you just said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, I see it. I don't watch TV that much, but every once in a while I see a commercial and it's like, 3 in a row. Like, we're here for you. Like, no, you're here to make money. Let's be real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're here to cover your butt, So, and it's also pressure from social media, right? Like I see people are like, you should use this time to like learn another language. You should learn how to cook. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Like if I want to learn, I'll like do it, but I don't. And I see people like now they're experts in this and they're experts in that. I'm like, what am I doing?
Experts.
Oh gosh, there's this meme that was going around, or maybe it was like someone on Twitter, and they said something like, if you don't come out of this pandemic having accomplished X, Y, and Z, then it wasn't a time problem. It was a you problem. I could totally paraphrase that, but it just like irked me because I'm like, you're just
like, sorry, we're human.
Exactly. I'm like, you're not a worthy human being only if you're accomplishing things. Like we're human. There's this, I don't know who said this first, but we're human beings, not human doings. We are still worthy even
I
if
like
we are
that.
not constantly being productive.
Yeah, I think I've definitely used these several months to like really find kind of like my center. I think naturally, like you said, I love to be productive. Like I feel the best when I'm productive. And that's not because I don't think it's because of like my parents' pressure or anything. It's just like personally I love feeling that, but then I'm also very tired. So I've been trying to find that balance where I am guilty of being that person where I'm like doing a lot of things and learning a lot of things right now. So I've like tried candle making. I'm like really into like making different drinks and boba and matcha and stuff. So I am guilty of that. But I think for myself, I like get a lot of energy from that. But I don't feel bad for taking some time to like not do anything and playing Animal Crossing for hours and hours and getting up later. Like it's okay.
I think that's the key. Yeah, that's the key. Like there's nothing wrong with being productive. I'm not putting productivity down, but it's the problem becomes, how do you feel when you're doing nothing? Are you okay with that, or do you feel guilty?
Right, exactly. Like if I wake up and I want to be productive, like I'll go and be productive. But if I wake up and I'm like, I don't feel like it, I just want to like lay around, like I'll do that too and feel happy about it. So it's something that I'm like definitely learning and working towards during this time. I think it's going to be for a while. So might as well get comfortable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew it was a really big problem for me when every time I got slow, like clients weren't coming, I wasn't doing photo shoots, and I saw everyone else being busy. It made me talk really bad to myself. Like, well, it's because you suck, or well, your career's going down the tube. It's because everybody's doing better than you are, and being slow means basically you stink and your career's going down. And I've learned to like be like, no, you know what? Like life is cycles. You never it's unsustainable to be busy all the time.
Yeah.
And I've learned to appreciate the slowness and enjoy it and love it instead of using that time to talk really badly to myself.
Yeah, that little voice. I think me and Ashley are like, we help each other with that, because I sometimes, like last week I had a very chill week and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, should I work on this? What should I work on? She's like, just enjoy it. Like, I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Nothing.
I'm going to go play Animal Crossing now. Goodbye.
Good for you. Balance is so important. We do not have enough balance. We need balance.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm trying to instill, not only in Jen, but in my team too, right? And I say this as the world's biggest hypocrite because I do not follow my own advice, so I will just preface it with
I'm
that.
like, talk about yourself.
Take the afternoon and work a little bit slower. Like if all of your priority work is done and you have writer's block, like go and get coffee. We'll handle your time cards. We'll make sure just it's a very different environment for a lot of people. I feel like I came from an agency where I traveled a lot for work, so I was able to work away from a desk. But when you take people that are all they've done is work at a desk. Then you put them in their home and they're working with their significant other and they're not leaving their house. So now you're working in the same environment that you're living in. And it creates a lot of psychological complications as well. And you kind of have to adjust. So if there's a day where you have to be a little bit more lethargic and a little bit sluggish in work, that's fine. Like double your productivity later on in the week. And I don't have a problem with that at all. I think that's healthy.
I love that this is like baked into the culture of your company because it starts from the top down, you know, and that's just really amazing. I applaud both of you because it really starts at the top, that kind of workplace culture.
Yeah, actually, it's been really, really good about telling her team that, and I really like that. You know, I want ZippyPaws to be like a fun place to work where you feel accomplished and we kind of reward you for accomplishments, but also, you know, if you're feeling down, like we're not going to be hard on you or anything. I know
take
like
a mental health day.
Yeah, people have ups and downs. Like if I had to work every single day for 8 hours from this time to this time, like I wouldn't be able to take it. I would probably break, you know, have a psychotic breakdown sometimes. So I know if it's like this for me, it's got to be like it for everybody else, right? So who am I to be like, you have to be here at 8:30, you know? I feel like we could talk for hours and hours, but it's been over an hour, so we're gonna just wrap this up. And Grace, where can our listeners find you on social media if they want to learn more about you?
Instagram is the Grace Chon. Grace Chon was taken, so I had to add a the in front of it.
Well, you are the. Who's this other Grace Chon?
You know what's so funny is she gets tagged all the time accidentally with people trying to tag me. And she's such a good sport about it, and she's so sweet. So Grace Chon, other Grace Chon, what's up? I applaud you. And then I'm on there most, and then my podcast is called Creativity School. There are like 43 episodes. I will eventually come back at some point. I just don't know when. Probably when maybe life is more normal. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are the two big places. And my website, gracechon.com.
Yay. So thank you so much for coming on to the show. I think we had a really fun time, and I learned a lot.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I could talk
a lot of stuff.
I know. I feel like I could talk to you for like 5 more hours.
That was fun.
It was fun.
Thanks, ladies.
If you want to boop that follow button, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Dog Mom Podcast and our website at www.zippypaws.com/Dog Mom Podcast.
Are you done
Yay,
now?
Dog Mom.
Yeah.
Yay, Dog
Thank you
Mom.
so much again.